Hi team, Ms. Vaughn here to talk to you about chapters 20 and 21 of Beloved. So we're going to do a combo video here. You need to remember or hold in your mind, and I would actually write this at the beginning of chapter 20 on page 236. Make it clear that this is going to be from Setha's point of view. So in chapter 19, first chapter, part 2, we get this back and forth of perspectives. Stampede the outsider, Setha is the insider. Now we get Setha's point of view, and it's going to cycle through the 3 different women in 124, starting with Setha. Okay, remember also that when Stampede goes to the door of 124, he hears a bunch of voices that are all chattering with each other, but he can only make out one word, and that word is mine. Okay, also, if you just like flip through these pages here, so kind of like what I was saying, or not kind of, this is an example of what I was saying from the previous chapter, that when there's not really any structure, it's because we really are just in Setha's thoughts. And that's going to be the same too when we read Denver's. And then things are going to become really disjointed when we read Beloveds for chapter 22. But for today, we're just going to be focusing on chapter 20 and 21 for Setha's point of view and then Denver's. Okay. Beloved, she my daughter, she mine. See, she come back to me of her own free will, and I don't have to explain a thing. And then just Seth is a little ignorant in this way. Or maybe it's like wishful thinking that she doesn't have to explain herself to Beloved, but we know that Beloved is very immature and that she doesn't know how to process things correctly. And so it would benefit or behoove Setha to explain things to Beloved, but she doesn't. I didn't have time to explain before because it had to be done quick. She had to be safe, and I put her where she would be. Okay, so this is talking about her killing Beloved. She's like, there's no time for explanations. It had to be done very quickly. And again, Setha still feels like what she did made Beloved, quote unquote, safe by killing her. She had to be safe, and I put her where she would be. But my love was tough, and she back now. I knew she would be. Paul D ran her off, so she had no choice but to come back to me in the flesh. I bet you baby Suggs on the other side helped. I won't never let her go. I'll explain to her, even though I don't have to. Why I did it. How, if I hadn't killed her, she would have died, and that is something I could not bear to happen to her. When I explain it, she'll understand, because she understands everything already. I'll tend her as no mother ever tended a child, a daughter. Nobody will ever get my milk no more except my children. I never had to give it to nobody else, and the one time I did, it was took from me. They held me down and took it. Milk that belonged to my baby. Nan had to nurse white babies, and me too, because Mam was in the rice. The little white babies got to it first, and I got what was left, or none. There's no nursing milk to call my own. I know what it is to be without the milk that belongs to you, to have to fight and holler for it, and to have so little left. I'll tell Beloved about that. She'll understand. She, my daughter. The one I managed to have milk for and to get it to her even after they stole it. After they handled me like I was the cow, no, the goat back behind the stable because it was too nasty to stay in with the horses. Okay, so we got some more dehumanization stuff happening here. Setha is recalling the memories that she previously went through at Sweet Home that we know about that. And so then she's going to continue on about her thoughts about Hallie, baby Suggs, and then more about the last days that she was at Sweet Home. And even though this is all from Setha's point of view, she's going to be having this like exchange between herself and Beloved, but that's like going to happen for the next couple pages. Okay. But I wasn't too nasty to cook their food or take care of Mrs. Garner. I tended her like I would have tended my own mother if she needed me. If they let me out the rice field, because I was the one she didn't throw away. I couldn't have done more for that woman than I would my own ma'am if she was to take sick and need me, and I'd have stayed with her till she got well or died. And I would have stayed after that, except Nan snatched me back. Before I could check for the sign. It was her, all right, but for a long time I didn't believe it. Okay, so this is like real stream of consciousness for Setha. And if you remember that her mom got branded right underneath, like on her rib cage, and Nan was the woman who took care of Setha, not at Sweet Home, but at the previous place that they were at. And so Setha is talking about how she never got the chance to verify whether or not that was her mom. The only reason why she does know is because Nan took her away from the scene. Stuttered after that, didn't stop till I saw Hallie. Oh, but that's all over now. I'm here. I lasted. And my girl come home. Now I can look at things again because she's here to see them too. After the shed, I stopped. Now in the morning, when I light the fire, I mean to look out the window to see what the sun is doing to the day. Does it hit the pump handle first or the spigot? See if the grass is green, or brown, or what? Now I know why Baby Sucks pondered color her last years. She never had time to see, let alone enjoy it before. Took her long enough to finish with blue, then yellow, then green. She was well into pink when she died. I don't believe she wanted to get to red, and I understand why, because me and Beloved outdid ourselves with it. Matter of fact, that and her pinkish headstone was the last color I recall. Now I'll be on the lookout. Think what spring will be for us. I'll plant carrots just so she can see them, and turnips. Have you ever seen one, baby? A prettier thing God never made. White and purple with a tender tail and a hard head. Feels good when you hold it in your hand and it smells like the creek when it floods, bitter but happy. We'll smell them together, beloved. Beloved, because you are mine and I have to show you these things and teach you what a mother should. Funny how you lose sight of some things and memory others. I never will forget that white girl's hands, Amy, but I forget the color of all that hair on her head. Eyes must have been gray, though. Seemed like I do remember that. Mrs. Garner's was light brown, while she was well. I got dark when she took sick. A strong woman used to be, and when she talked off her head, she'd say it. I used to be strong as a mule, Jenny. Called me Jenny when she was blabbering, and I can bear witness to that. Tall and strong. The two of us on a cord of wood was as good as men. Hurt her like the devil not to be able to raise her head off the pillow. Still can't figure why she thought she needed school teacher, though. Wonder if she lasted like I did. Last time I saw her, she couldn't do nothing but cry, and I couldn't do a thing for her but wipe her face when I told her what they'd done to me. Somebody had to know it, hear it, somebody. Maybe she lasted. School teacher wouldn't treat her the way he treated me. First beating I took was the last. Nobody going to keep me from my children. Hadn't it been for me taking care of her, maybe I would have known what happened. Maybe Hallie was trying to get to me. I stood by her bed waiting for her to finish with the slop jar. When I got her back in the bed, she said she was cold. Hot as blazes and she wanted quilts. Said to shut the window. I told her no. She needed the cover. I needed the breeze. Long as those yellow curtains flapped, I was all right. Should have heated her. Maybe what sounded like shots really was. Maybe I would have seen somebody or something. Maybe. Anyhow, I took my babies to the corn, Hallie or no. Jesus. When I heard that woman's rattle, she said, "Any more?" I told her I didn't know. She said, "I've been here all night, can't wait." I tried to make her. She said, "Can't do it. Come on." Who? Not a man around. Boy's scared. You asleep on my back. Denver asleep in my stomach. Felt like I was split in two. I told her to take you all. I had to go back in case. She just looked at me, said, "Woman?" Bit a piece of my tongue off when they opened my back. It was hanging by a shred. I didn't mean to. Okay, so Setha is recalling when the Underground Railroad goes through Sweet Home, that she takes her children out to these people, and she wants to go back one more time to see if Hallie is in the place that he needs to be. And the woman is kind of shocked because remember, Setha's in really bad conditions when she leaves Sweet Home. So that's why she questions her and says, "Woman," because it's kind of like, if you don't leave now, there's probably not going to be a very good chance that you're going to survive. And Setha is very proud of the fact that she survived, and also gave birth to a child along the way. Clamped down on it, it come right off. I thought, good God, I'm going to eat myself up. They dug a hole for my stomach so as to not hurt the baby. Denver don't like for me to talk about it. She hates anything about Sweet Home except how she was born. Okay, so like earlier in the book, and this is all like a matter of perspective and understanding. Denver said that she only likes the stories that involve her. But there's like this hint here that maybe it's not that she only likes stories that involve her, but it's that the stories that involve Setha, they're traumatizing for Denver, so Denver doesn't like to hear them. Because I mean, that detail that Setha gives here, they dug a hole for my stomach so as to not hurt the baby. She's thinking about when she got whipped, and they literally dug a hole out of the ground so that she wasn't laying flat on her stomach before they whipped her. Okay, but you was there, and even if you're too young to remember it, I can tell it to you. The Great Barber. You memory that? I ran so fast, flies beat me to you. I would have known right away who you was when the sun blotted out your face the way it did when I took you to the Great Barber. I would have known at once when my water broke. The minute I saw you sitting on the stump, it broke. And when I did see your face, it had more than a hint of what you would look like after all these years. I would have known who you were right away because the cup after cup of water you drank proved and connected to the fact that you dribbled clear spit on my face the day I got to 124. I would have known right off, but Paul D distracted me. Otherwise, I would have seen my fingernail prints right there on your forehead for all the world to see. From when I held your head up, out in the shed. And later on, when you asked me about the earrings I used to dangle for you to play with, I would have recognized you right off, except for Paul D. So Setha feels guilty here because she's like, I would have known that it was you sooner if it wasn't for the fact that I was distracted by Paul D. And she goes through some of the details, like the scratches on Beloved's head are from Setha's fingernails when she was holding Beloved's head in the shed the day that she was murdered. The earrings, and then I think that that's it. Seems to me he wanted you out from the beginning, but I wouldn't let him. What you think? And look how he ran when he found out about me and you in the shed. Too rough for him to listen to. Too thick, he said. My love was too thick. What he know about it? Who in the world is he going to die for? Would he give his privates to a stranger in return for a carving? Some other way, he said. There must have been some other way. Let school teacher haul us away, I guess, to measure your behind before he tore it up. I felt what it felt like, and nobody walking or stretched out is going to make you feel it too. Not you, not none of mine. And when I tell you, you mine, I also mean I'm yours. I wouldn't draw breath without my children. I told baby Suggs that, and she got down on her knees to beg pardon for me. Still, it's so. My plan was to take us all to the other side where my own man is. So that's how we know that the plan was that Setha wasn't going to just kill all of her children. She was also going to kill herself in the shed too, to be reunited with her mom. They stopped me from getting us there, but they didn't stop you from getting here. Haha, you came right back like a good girl, like a daughter, which is what I wanted to be and would have been if my man had been able to get out of the rice long enough before they hanged her and let me be one. You know what? She had the bit so many times she smiled. When she wasn't smiling, she smiled, and I never saw her own smile. I wonder what they was doing when they was caught. Running, you think? No, not that, because she was my ma'am. And nobody's ma'am would run off and leave her daughter, would she? Would she now? Leave her in the yard with a one-armed woman? Even if she hadn't been able to suckle the daughter for more than a week or two, and had to turn her over to another woman's tit, that never had enough for her all. They said it was the bit that made her smile when she didn't want to, like the Saturday girls working the slaughterhouse yard. When I came out of jail, I saw them plain. They came when the shift changed on Saturday, when the men got paid and worked behind the fences, back of the outhouse. Some worked standing up, leaning on the tool house door. They gave us some of their nickels and dimes to the foremen as they left, but by then their smiles was over. Some of them drank liquor to keep from feeling what they felt. Some didn't drink a drop, just beat it on over to Phelps to pay for what their children needed, or their mammies. Working a pig yard. That has got to be something for a woman to do. I got close to it myself when I got out of jail and bought, so to speak, your name. But the Bodwins got me the cooking job at Sawyer's and left me able to smile on my own like now when I think about you. But you know all that because you smart like everybody said, because when I got here, you was crawling already, trying to get up the stairs. Baby Suggs had them painted white so you could see your way to the top in the dark where lamplight didn't reach. Lord, you love the stair steps. I got close to being a Saturday girl. I had already worked a stonemason shop. A step two to the slaughterhouse would have been a short one. But I put that headstone up. I wanted to lay in there with you, put your head on my shoulder and keep you warm. And I would have if Bugler, Howard, and Denver didn't need me. Because my mind was homeless then. I couldn't lay down with you then, no matter how much I wanted to. I couldn't lay down nowhere in peace back then. Now I can. I can sleep like the drowned have mercy. She come back to me, my daughter, and she is mine. Okay. Seth is caught in her thought spiral. Now we're going to read Denver's thought spiral and then Beloved's. All right. I lied at the beginning of this video. I'm actually going to break 20 and 21 up into 2 videos. Okay.